Okay, so quick recap from last week. After you had destroyed Ulrich for all time and freed up Beren and Tulia to be able to return to their eternal love, you went back to the village, and Tilla had offered to take you to Christiansen so that you could carry on with your quest to get to Jornheim. As along the way, obviously, getting as many people to come and help you in the war against the orcs from the north as possible. When you're there, you meet up with the town leaders, and you also speak to the dwarven weaponsmith and armorsmith, the blacksmith that resides there. And obviously, they've only got metal as their main sort of income, and they haven't got spare men. But what they offer to do is to arm the armies of the Norrenholm, and so they're starting to donate metal at first, and then they're going to look for recompense later. But to make arrowheads and spearheads and swords and breastplates, lots of very basic breastplates, and they're going to ship them up to Eorangas so that they can be prepared for the forces, because obviously Norrenholm doesn't have a standing army, and therefore it doesn't have like an army's worth of kit just kicking around. So they can probably get a lot of people to volunteer, but most of them will just have farming equipment or maybe occasional sword and shield. So what they're trying to do is make sure they actually have some decent equipment and gives them a better chance, because the orcs, who are a warlike race, have skin that's like armor to start with, and all their weapons are vicious. So you achieved that, and you headed off. While you were traveling down through the Eternal Plains, Tilla told you about the fact that he'd traveled up when he was younger with his brother, and they were attacked, and he was slain, and Tilla, for his shame, ran away. And then as you were traveling on a third day, the mist descended, and this big thick fog started to cover everything. Obviously, you'd had the vision, which I haven't mentioned yet. You had the vision from Tulia, which showed you her in her grief bearing her ring, planting the core of the apple, which was all that was left from the apple that she'd used to make the pie, sorry. And you watched as time lapse that turned into a big tree, but there was this little hidden hole, and you were told to take the ring and return it and to free her father, which you did. So you travelled there. You came across these were creatures. One of them turns out to be Tilla's brother, and he starts to attack this huge wolf, wolf creature that's just sort of terrifying, maybe 7-8 foot tall, half man, half wolf, all muscle and all teeth, very terrifying. But between the rat and then Gaten, he made that killer blow, decapitating the decapitating the wolf man. A very important moment. You were free to carry on. As soon as you did that, you found the tree, and then you found the city where it was frozen, and in there you come across this one location. You can walk through all this city full of frozen people. It's very strange. And you come across the king, Pericles, Iron Fist, and he's obviously beside himself with grief and crying with tears, and you hand him the ring, and you basically this demon is summoned, and he tells you that basically he's not for free. He tries to get Aleph to join him because he is a servant of Asmodeus, and he was like, "Brother, come to me, join us, and destroy this party." Aleph, in a moment of desperate character introspection, decides that he can't do it. He can't kill his own friends for the sake of his patron, and he basically struggles with that. At the end of the combat, you skillfully managed to kill this demon, and it was a hell of a battle, but far easier than it should have been. I don't know how you killed it so well. Oh yes, fucking protection from evil bullshit. Anyway, I hadn't quite considered for that. Remind me that my next big bad boss is going to be 10 times harder. Fuck you. And when he does, this fairy appears, like almost like a butterfly, a fairy with a iridescent gossamer wings and rainbow colours and this strange discordant voice that talks out and offers to basically take Aleth on a trip because he's basically just lost his patron. And as she's talking to him, Aleth's powers just start to leave him and he starts to feel weak. He'd already lost Jimmy because he'd left behind outside the city, but now without his patron he was weak and alone, and he's transported to this place, this kind of representation of his internal struggle where, oh, I don't know how much you saw of that. How much did you see of that bit of it last time, players?
I don't know if we saw it. You described up to the point where he had the choice of either going with the Fae or the
And they went through the
Fiend
grey
again,
door.
and he went through the grey area.
Right, yeah,
And
so
then we didn't
basically,
again.
yes, and he basically travelled through all eternity in the void, in the grey space between the dimensions of creation and the void itself, unable to aside and align with the greater evil of Asmodeus or the greater good of Waldessa and the other gods. And he disappears for a while, and you're taken to this treasure room, and as like the final gift, and you follow in this like the wings and like I think it was the dove. You follow the light, and you found the treasure room anyway. And in there, as you said, it was basically the treasure of the city, because as soon as the demon was killed, the city just started to age. All the people basically faded away. The city aged, but in a strange way, in that certain parts of the city actually still have some semblance of strength. And you find this treasure room, and you find a bag of holding, and you find tons of jewelry and a just chest full of gold. And this is the treasure of an old kingdom, just basically sitting here for your pickings. And it kind of feels a bit like it's destiny that at the time when Nurrenholm, for the first time ever, needs money to raise an army to help defend itself, that you come across this city that's been frozen for hundreds of years and has now been freed. And the final gift of Pericles is this gift to you, for you to be able to use for selfless means, to try and raise the army and to protect yourselves and to stop Nurrenholm from being obliterated by the orcs. And at the close of the adventure last time, we found ourselves with Aleth returning, but Aleth now looks completely different. He has a kind of greyer complexion, and his clothes are all completely grey, and he has a faraway look. Aleth, you travelled through the void for a while, maybe forever, or for a moment. You can't tell in that timeless place. You fall until your hand is taken by this grey god, Jetrick, and you are shown the way of the grey path. You spend a lot of time, it feels like an eternity, as your mind is reshaped to this idea that actually has always been who you are. But that time when you found the demon in the woods of the Evergreen Forest, who swayed you to give you such great power, and has been leading you towards evil all this time, and you've been fighting against it, knowing that the path that you wish to travel is one of neutrality between good and evil. You know that old Owl saw this in you. That's why he gave you the dice of neutrality that allows you to basically do good and evil with the dice. It's basically intrinsic in your soul, and now that element of your soul is now manifest, and you re-emerge after what seems like an eternity into the light of day and existence once again, and you find yourself back heavy in your body, but you look down and your appearance has changed. You noticed that his appearance seems slightly less equine than it was before. He has a slightly sturdier, but though still even possibly more ethereal look to his face. And he's, well, do you want to describe how you now look, Harry?
Yeah, I planned this. Okay, well, I look roughly the same. I'm a bit more buff now. As he says, I look a bit more holy, but not, not crazy holy. I got a very grey look to me. My hair's got like strands of grey in it now. It's not just blonde. And I've got very my eyes are just, when you look into them, it's almost like you're just staring into nothing. It's just kind of this greyness. But basically my what's the coloured bit of your eye? I can't remember the name.
Iris.
Iris. Yeah, my iris is now grey instead of whatever colour it was before.
Green. It's gone from green to like a fiercely white grey. So it looks like you're chiseled from stone. Yes.
Oh, my shoulders are a bit broader as well.
Did he disappear and then come back like this?
Yes. Yeah.
Did we notice
So,
any time passing?
Gaten's going to look around and go, how long have we been here?
I don't know. I don't know where I've been. How is everyone? Are we all alive? Are we dead?
Is it do we notice how long it's been, or is it
Moments. For you, it's been probably a minute. For Aleth, it's probably been like 1,000 years of just travelling and falling.
I'm definitely dead then.
I mean, the moments that you remember are fleeting of your journey. All you remember is this physical body of Jetrick, and you aligning yourself to him, and the path of the Grey Knight and the neutral path, the essential joiner between all that is good and all that is evil, a crucial part that people often forget.
More like Alice now.
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
I'll send it on the wrong chat. That's why. Here you go. Send a photo.
A little bit, but not. That's a bit too drowy. And actually, if anything, the ears are less pointy than they were before.
Oh.
My ears aren't even pointy anymore. They look quite normal.
Yeah, that is something you noticed, actually, that the elven ears have seemed to have gone. Whatever's happened to Aleth has changed him totally. And you don't know how much by.
Do we know it's Alice?
It looks like Aleth.
It sounds like Alice.
He sounds the same.
Gaten's going to go to ask so many questions, and he's just going to be like, are you okay?
Well, I just felt like I died, and I don't remember much, and I see grey.
But you're not dead.
Well, are you sure? How do I know you're not dead?
We got a shit ton of money.
I don't understand what
Does
the
that
heck
make
is
you
going
happy?
on here. But if you're okay, we continue.
Money suddenly does not please me.
Oh my god, he's sick.
He's not okay.
I'm as confused as you are, my friends.
Yeah, I mean, you see the gold, but what's the point of gold?
But hey, I met the devil.
You're shit.
That was interesting. He was big. Very big. Makes you feel quite small.
And you met
Oh,
God.
that Faye woman was okay too, you know.
Well, Dessa.
That's
She was
very
there.
Well, she was very grateful, wasn't she, for saving Yagama?
We
Yeah.
met her as well, didn't we?
What made you choose neither?
Choose neither what.
Oh,
I don't remember telling you I chose anything.
Assuming you
What do
told
you
them. You're like, well, guys, this happened, because they heard it. Let's just assume they saw that.
Well,
They heard
you
that.
know, the whole idea of someone else giving me power seemed a bit dull. I'm pretty sure I'm just more a, I'm capable of doing my own things. I don't need some sugar daddy.
that's fair.
Sugar daddy.
Or a sugar mama.
Or a sugar mama, in case of the Fae. Now, I feel like I no longer want to cast spells. What? Give me a sword, Gaten. Is there any swords around here?
I've got some weapons.
This is a axe that I have now named Sword, and I'll give him one of my hand axes. I've got javelins.
Who has the +2 sword or whatever it was? Didn't we have a sword?
Yeah,
That was really good.
that's mine.
What is it? Can I have
There's
it?
also another one that Paige has got.
You can have
Isn't
a normal
isn't it a
sword.
That's the
dagger or is it a
short
short sword?
That's the
I
short
have a
sword of
normal
Baron.
long sword. I have a normal long sword.
I might rob Paige.
You will not rob Paige. That was.
I can give you a short bow.
Oh wait, no, Baron's sword is only a +1, isn't it? Someone had like a +2.
Baron's sword was a +2.
Oh.
Mine is +2 and it's mine, so suck on that, bitch.
Two
Okay.
ranged characters won't give me their swords.
So
In the treasury, there is a sword.
I offered
no,
you
no,
a
no, 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 no.
a normal long sword.
Everyone make perception rolls.
I can give you an axe. That's all I can give you.
Yeah, normal
Or a
weapon.
javelin.
I can give you a short bow or a long sword.
Nope, Gaten doesn't even know you're there.
I might notice something.
Bollocks.
Freya, you can hear conversations going on from another room nearby. You can hear several voices talking. The rest of them, Paige is basically sat down in amongst all the gold and the jewels, and she's trying to appraise them and make a running total of how much you've got. We've made a note of rough money, but she's trying to sort of discern and separate it. That's what she's doing right now because she's not here. And yeah, you can hear voices, many voices talking from another room.
We're still in the.
You're in the treasury, the hidden treasury, that just looked like a wall when you went up to
I
it.
thought we were alone.
Is it
so-
closed behind us or is it still just wide open?
It's sorry, there's a fly in here.
Oh.
You're wide open still, but it's coming from further away.
Interesting.
Shall I go and have a look?
Well, you haven't heard anything yet, Gaten, and Freya
Oh,
hasn't
yeah.
said anything.
I'm
So-
waiting for you to stop talking, Mr. Storyteller. Guys, I can hear voices. I thought we were alone, but maybe we should go and check it out.
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything either. Are you okay?
Where-
Well, either I'm
Good.
hearing voices or there are people in a very distant area.
I
It's
mean,
fine. I'll go check by myself. Let
Pa-
the woman get killed.
Paige
I
looks
don't
up.
mind checking.
I didn't hear anything. Carries on
I'm
with the
just
gold.
saying it's a very strange place, so
It
anything's
is a strange
possible.
place. It's strange in that some bits of it still look quite new, and some bits of it look ancient. It's like it's aged naturally, but unnaturally, because obviously this has been kept in stasis for hundreds of years, and yet it's aged all at once. And while it has aged, the nature of the aging has. Oh, what's the persuasion roll for?
Well, they seem to not believe me and tell me I'm hearing voices, and I got a 20. Thank you very much. You all
Okay.
persuaded. We will go to the voices.
You can make intelligence checks if you wish to resist the persuasive powers of Freya.
I mean, I'm agreeing to go. So
Okay,
it didn't
it's a
need much
compelling argument.
persuading.
All right, you leave the treasury,
I can.
and you find
Out with
yourself. The voices are back in the main area, and you can see Tiller is still there because obviously he was here from before in the battle. But he's talking to. There's a huge group of men and some women, and they're just kind of milling around, looking lost. They're all wearing bedraggled, ripped clothing. As you walk into the room, Tiller nods to one of the men, and he puts his hand on the shoulder of this man. And as you look, he looks kind of similar, though a bit younger. A bit younger now. He was older when he was. Actually, no, he would look older. Actually, sorry. Looks a bit older than Tiller, but very similar. Ah, Freya, Gaten, Alith. This is my brother. We met him up on the path. He helped us.
Miles.
There seems to be a bit of a situation. Miles steps forward.
Last time we saw you, Miles, you look slightly different.
As he steps forward out from the shadow of Tiller, you notice you've got something in his hands. It looks like the horns from the demon on like a skull cap, but it seems to be some sort of helm. He steps forward. So several of the men follow him. He walks up to you, Gaten, and then gets down onto one knee, and then just holds the horns up. We are told your name is Gaten.
It is.
We are the Joinings, the chosen of Pericles. For generations, we have been cursed to wander these lands as misformed beasts. You slew our leader, the wolf, and in doing so, the mantle of leadership has passed to you. And with the slaying of the demon, we are free to make our own choices. And we have been speaking, and we have chosen you as our new leader. If you will take this gift, we will become your men, your warriors. You notice a few of the men walking forward. Most of them seem to know this place. There's a few of them, more less warrior-looking people that have stood bedraggled, but they all look bedraggled, as if they've had clothing that's been ripped many times. I mean, make intelligence checks, but it's fairly obvious that these were joinings, or werebeasts that have reverted back to their human form. These people here are the sons of Pericles. How do I explain it? He turns to one of the other men. Greg, maybe you could try and explain it. One of the men stands up, walks forward, and then bows down again. My name is Gregius, but you can call me Greg. I was once a soldier of Pericles, and when the city fell to the demon, several of us who were on the outskirts of the city didn't get transformed into this frozen state as you saw, but we were physically changed into beasts. It was a most distressing experience, but we became for generations these undying joining beasts, and we roamed the lands, and well, we had a leader who was the great wolf who you slew, and by our traditions, the person that slew our leader must become our leader, and we were drawn back here as you removed the veil over the city and you freed the city from its curse. We found our way. It's taken us days to get here. You're a bit confused by this because it's only been a matter of an hour or so since you entered the city. Yes, this is the confusing bit, says Miles. It's been many days since we met last, but Tiller tells me that to you it's only been an hour or so, which is confusing. But to say that basically it's been a couple of days since the veil over the city was removed, and we all felt the calling to come to the city. Most of us here, not me included, but most of them are soldiers, and we've been discussing as we've been wandering around trying to find you, until we came across this hall, and as we found Tiller, and Tiller explained everything, and now we seem to be lined up, and I don't know whether the magic of this place is starting to fade. It's quite confusing, but yeah, Greg interrupts again. Yes, if you would take up the mantle of being our lord, we would become your army, sire. But to do so, you must take on the gift of our abilities. And there is a place here where there is an armory, and we've uncovered it. And for some reason, and we do not understand, maybe it's the magic of this place, but the armory has been untouched by time. Much as I have seen that, he looks across and you can see that that you've become from the treasury, that that there are several places in this city where the time doesn't seem to have affected them, but it seems to be specific places chosen. Or maybe they were protected by some other spells, I know not, but certainly the armory has been protected. And if you would take the gift of joining us and becoming one of the brethren, we would become your men and fight by your side until our death. For we have nothing else to really live for at this point, and we've been discussing this for several days while we've been here. I appreciate that for you it has been mere moments since you met us for the first time and slew our leader. Your memory kind of leaps back to the beheading of the wolf beast a few hours ago, just before you came across the tree. It is our tradition, but I would understand if you would not accept this gift, because it is obviously a big decision. But Tilla tells us that you are fighting a great war, and we would indeed be great allies. For we, as we have discovered, now have control over our own joining and can shift to these beasts as we wish. And if you wish us to join you as joining beasts in this war, then that's what we will do. But you will have to take upon the crown of leadership. But in doing so, you must accept the gift that we have and become joined with us.
Ooh.
Okay.
And what thing
what does that entail me to? What do I need to do for the? Are there any among you that just simply wish freedom?
There are none. For all of us who have become part of the joining have lost our families generations ago.
Then
Miles was the most recent, because for many generations now, people have stopped travelling across the plains. We believe it's probably because of us. The stories of this land becoming cursed and people being attacked. And Tilla had said to you, by the way, that he was like probably one of the last of the people to travel across the plains. And when he did, he lost his brother. And since then, they take the long route round to get to Christiansund and onto Jonheim, because they see the plains as cursed. But the only reason you came this way is because, well, A, because it's the fastest way to get to Christiansund and Jonheim, and secondly, because your vision of Turia's vision that you had. Let me take you to the armory, but I beseech you, you must make a decision quickly, otherwise we must choose another leader. But to explain very briefly from what we understand, so basically these are the horns of the demon that you slew, and his skull cap, in amongst all of the ashes of his body, where his body exploded, the horns have formed themselves magically into this helmet, because basically the demon formed these joinings and was controlling them. But since they become free of that control, they now free to choose, and the horns have become, through some sort of ancient magic, this helm. But if it's placed upon your head, it will permanently change you, basically, and it will turn you into a controlled werebeast, which basically means you'll have increased stats, and it will also mean that
his main concern is that he can control it or not.
You can control it fully. They can control it now.
Yeah, if he'll ask them if he can control it, and if they say yes, then he'll accept.
Aye, we can. The curse is raised.
What beast will he turn into?
A wolf. It's in his soul. As we look at you now, we sense the wolf. Your journey in your life.
They can turn off and turn on, like a druid, where they can turn into like an animal.
Yeah, basically, but you become like a werebeast. Basically, you can still wear your armor and everything. Basically, if you tailor the armor correctly.
Wear armor.
You don't wear armor. They do, but so it's even more perfect for you. But basically, they can become warriors who, in time of battle, can basically just change up into these fierce creatures, and then back again. We were cursed without control. And the mist would always make us be in the beast form. Occasionally the mist would rise, and for moments we would have control over our own bodies again, but then it would pass. But now that you've slain the demon and the mist has gone, we have complete control. So these aren't werewolves and werebeasts. These are joinings. They have very similar stats to werebeasts, but they have full control over them, basically. And when they're in the beast form, they are still completely sentient with their own character. Yeah, basically. But so the choice is you would have to permanently become this kind of joining beast. In doing so, you would have some physical alterations. That the helm would become part of your character with these horns. You would be known as the Beastmaster, basically. Though you can continue to have your skills and everything. The key difference is that you'd have an army of about 38 joinings who would be at your command.
Which is definitely useful in the upcoming requirement.
Well, they're many times more capable than the average soldier.
I will accept the offer.
Then we must perform the ritual. As you're saying this, Aleth and Freya, you notice some of the men coming back with these immaculate breastplates and armor. So basically chain armor, leather tunics, they're all in mint condition. And they've all got basically these doves on them. The dove symbol is basically the symbol of the royal family of Pericles, of which Iron Fist was the last. Well, actually, technically, Tulia was the last, but yeah. So they basically got these doves on this breastplate. If any of you follow the men back, most of these guys were soldiers here hundreds of years ago, before the curse. When they were ejected from the city, it had been hundreds of years since the city had fallen. Its time seems to have done some very strange things here. But basically, these cursed few that escaped being frozen and now passed have this gift. But the armory is completely packed with weapons and armor. All the armor is of the same design, basically. They've got helms with plumes. There's white plumes, and they have these golden tinged steel breastplates. It's basically half plate armor with like chain under, and then leather braces, leather gauntlets, leather boots, and then they have these white cloaks with the symbol of a dove on the back with like a gold gilt edge. And you can see the men starting to pass them round and put them on. They're laughing and joking now. Obviously, it's been a long time since they've seen these, but yeah. So you basically find all this weaponry. They've got pikes, long spears, swords. They got sabers and rapiers. They also had quite a lot of cavalry here at one point. They're all dead now, all the cavalry. But yeah, so it's a magnificent. There's just racks of weapons here.
Is there any that look like outstandingly good?
Yes, there is. There is like a couple of sets of captain's gear where the armor is actually kind of like all white.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Is it medium?
Yeah, I said it's half plate.
Cool.
So half plate armor. Yeah, so there's like general soldiers who've got like this gold tinged steel half plate with the white plumed helms and the white cloaks, and their swords have scabbards that have like white running down them. It's incredibly ornate, beautiful in fact. And then there's some of the armor where they're obviously for commanders, captains, that sort of thing, and they've got like all white plates where it's been coated in some sort of white paint, and they have sabers. So effectively, so yeah, half plate armor. So each one of these is half plate armor. Each set of armor is worth 750 gold. And there's probably 200 sets of this armor.
We can put it in my bag of holding.
It won't fit.
Oh.
It's not even can't take this. Yeah, so the armor gives you an AC modifier of 15 plus a max dex modifier of +2. It does give you disadvantage on stealth. So you can get up to a maximum AC of 17, basically. But it does look stunning. Stunning armor.
Yeah, I want to find like I want to take that and the best great sword.
Yeah, so, sorry. Where the captain's outfits were, they also have weapons, but these are master crafted. These are incredibly fine, ivory handled, and a beautiful filigree work on these sabres and swords. And you can see that these are obviously made for the noble class. And this is mastercraft. None of them are magical at this point, unfortunately.
So it's a +1 greatsword.
It's a not +1 non-magical greatsword, unless you took some of the oil from.
No, that's fine. All my weapons are going to be magical anyway.
Of course they are. Yes, under your new world. So you're going for a greatsword.
I am going for a greatsword.
Yes, there is a magnificent white-handled master-crafted greatsword in amongst the collection. If any of you want any armor, basically this half plate does look spectacular, and there are some more white ones if you wish to go for white. The men all wear the gold, and it's strange because even though their armor looks gold, the white armor looks even more magnificent. Though it's hard to tell why, but it has kind of like a almost ethereal element
My
to it.
character wants black,
There's no black armor here.
then I will stay with what I have.
Okay.
My aesthetic is more important to me than armor.
Okay.
I don't need armor, but perhaps they've got a robe or something similar.
Yes, because you're unarmored defense, yeah?
Mhm.
Yeah, so they're in amongst here as well. There are some kind of like noble outfits. I mean, you already have like a really decent set of clothing anyway. But I can say you can find another set that looks particularly regal in white, because everything here is kind of white or gold. So there's like a white tunic outfit with a dove on it, and obviously you've got the helm as well. So you're summoned to the center of the circle, back where the body is. You can see that the men have all gone and stood in a circle around you, and someone's taken some water and taken the ashes from the demon, and they've basically just painted these shapes of wings onto their faces all around the room. And you see that Miles comes to you with Glenn, and they take the helm and say to you, Gaten, we pledge our loyalty to you. We pledge our souls to you. Do you accept our souls and take part in the joining and become one with us as brother?
I do.
Please kneel.
Kneel.
Okay. He places this helm upon your head. For a moment, there's intense searing pain, and it feels like your body is basically being melted, like someone's pouring a hot vat of fat onto your head or something, and you just feel like your whole head is melting. The pain is excruciating. Make a con save to see whether you pass out.
It's exclamation S, isn't it?
Yep. Hold on.
14.
I sent you a DM, by the way, of what I'm thinking my oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention my skin is now black. It turns out you can't be my race without having black skin. or grey skin. So I'm now grey charcoaly skin. Hope you didn't, hope you noticed it before now.
Yeah, well, we did say you had kind of grey skin, so you have got grey skin.
Okay, good.
Gaten's not going to be in a position to comment on anyone's appearance soon.
Well, if
Okay.
anyone's wondering what I look like, this is the new photo.
So I've updated my photo too.
Okay. So I got 14 on my con save.
Yeah, that's enough. You resist the temptation to scream or go unconscious.
I've done more grunge.
Jesus, I've turned you to the dark side. I don't know.
I'm slowly going there.
Aleph has tainted you, turned you to the dark side, and then he's fucked off from the dark side and just gone, "Now that's not for me."
It's gone to the grey.
I'm enjoying it.
Damn, you've gone Avril Lavigne.
I am 17. I'm allowed to be grungy at this point.
That is true.
It's your rebellious face.
Exactly.
Okay, you open your eyes, expecting to see blood pouring down your face, but there is none. But there is this strange weight on your head now. Everyone else, there was a blinding red light over his head, and now
I'm not
the
here,
lights. Oh, okay, whoever's there.
I forgot to mention that whilst this is all happening, I'm creating a ritual on my weapon.
Okay, yeah, but you basically just sit down and start doing a ritual on your weapon, your greatsword. You basically see that his skull has now become like this helm with these horns. From a glance, it looks like it's just a helmet with horns. But if you look closely, it actually looks like the horns are coming from him, and that they're actually his. But it is the helm. You notice that the horns have shrunk somewhat from when they were the demons, and they've kind of like become more proportioned to his size. Gaten, you feel different. There's a feral sense all your life, ever since that day that those wolves descended from the hills uncharacteristically and attacked those villagers, and you shoot them off and killed one of them, and you became known as Wolfsbane. You've always known that your fate has been intrinsically entwined with the wolf. And then when you came across the joinings and you slew the wolf, who was to know that you were slaying the leader of the joinings themselves? You now basically are a human joining with a wolf. Basically, it's very much similar to a werewolf. You just happen to have complete control. It's magically created. Your AC has increased by 1 naturally. Gaten.
Okay.
Permanently. It's a hide. Your skin has now become more leathery. It's actually done 1 disservice to you because your charisma has gone down by 1.
It keeps the same bonus.
Yeah, possibly. Your strength and your constitution have both gone up by 1.
Hold on, let me just and this is called a joining.
Yes, you are now adjoining. So if John was here from the other campaign, he would say that your DNA has been fused with that of a wolf, and that DNA traits from the wolf have been infused into your body, and you have become joined. Though your mind, the mind of the human, has dominance.
+1 to charisma, and +1 to strength and dex.
I'm just gonna pop to the bathroom.
Or was it strength and con, did you say?
Strength and con have gone up by 1.
My con is already at 20. I don't think it can go any higher, can it?
Yeah. Okay, you ready for the next bit?
Yep.
All right. when you change, you can polymorph at will into a hybrid, basically into the joining beast. When you're in the joining beast form, you can't cast any spells. Not that you cast spells anyway.
No. What a shame.
But any equipment you're wearing is transformed with it. It reshapes and resizes. So if you've got a weapon in your hand, etc., etc. When you are in wolf form, this is your hybrid form. Okay. When you're in your hybrid form, so your joining form, and also when you're in your true wolf form. So one thing I haven't mentioned yet is you can once per day, so that you can join into this joining wolf at will. At will, okay. But once per day, you can true polymorph into a wolf, just a normal. Well, kind of like a great wolf, almost like a warg.
Okay. Once per day. Okay. So the hybrid form.
So when you're in hybrid and wolf form, you get keen hearing and smell, which means you have advantage on all wisdom checks, perception checks that rely on hearing or smell. So basically your perceptions are enhanced. But only when you're in joining form.
Yep.
And wolf. But when you're not human, basically. You also have an extra attack. You have a bite attack.
In both.
In both.
Does that mean I can attack the normal amount of times and then an extra one, or
Yes.
it just changes my attack to bite?
No. You can do all your normal attacks, and then you can bite.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're a beast.
Literally.
Um,
Extra attack bite. Okay.
yeah. So the bite basically does 1d8 damage, plus your strength modifier, obviously, and your attack modifier is your attack modifier based on strength.
Damage. Yep, I can add that.
Okay. And when you're in hybrid form, your hands become claws, so you can still use weapons. Okay. But if you use them as melee attack without any weapon in them, they do 2d4 damage.
Okay.
Okay.
2d4.
Yep, 2d4 damage.
Right, plus strength, I assume.
Yeah. And your attack modifier is your attack modifier.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's not a magical attack or anything. It's just literally the fact that you don't have to have a weapon to have weapons. Hello.
If I get caught in a bar brawl.
Oh Jesus! You do not want to be turning into this in a bar brawl. The whole bar would
Given
turn
that
against you.
As an idea of when that's a thing.
Do it. Do
Yeah.
it.
So when you're in wolf form, basically you have the stats of the warg.
Can he still rage?
He can rage in hybrid form. In hybrid form, you're basically as you are now. You're a bit beefier, a bit bigger. You also go about a foot taller as well when you're in wolf form. Still not large. You're
So
still
can't
just
Rage
medium sized.
as-
You can't, as a wolf, you can't do much at all. The only reason you would go as a wolf if you wanted to go undetected into somewhere. Combat-wise, you would be massively disadvantaged in wolf form.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't do half your shit. You're basically just a wolf with sentience. But yeah. And
How long?
you have the command of 38 joining warriors, all in half-plate mail, bearing spears and short swords and shields.
How long does it take to change form?
That's a good point, actually. It doesn't say. I shall say that it is a bonus action, because that's how druids do it. I mean, if a druid can do it quicker than a fucking natural joining, that's crazy. So yeah, so it's a bonus action.
Okay, I'll add this to the character sheet properly.
So instead of being like a American Werewolf in London, where there's like 5 minutes of you going as you're through, you just kind of go, I'm ready to battle now, and then like that. And it's the same for all the other joinings. Basically, these guys are fierce, and they're very loyal to you. They're not driven by money. They need food, and they like to hunt for wildlife. So they're pretty self-sustaining.
They're like your children.
Huh?
They're like his little children.
Hmm.
They're like fully grown children.
Yeah,
Well,
I
here's the
now have
thing.
the dilemma of what the hell do I do with them now? Because we're supposed to be going down to this thing. Where do I send them? Do they come with us?
Come
Well,
to your home.
We come with you, sire. I mean, when they're in human form, they just look like human soldiers. One of the guys, by the way, has found like a big old baths that the nobles used to use, and they're all laughing about the fact that they would never been able to use it in the old days. And someone's got up a fire, and there's several water holes in the city which still have water now that it's unfrozen, and they're boiling up water in these huge pans they found. The city is a treasure trove of randomness. It's up to you now what you want to do, whether you want to leave immediately for Christiansson or whether you want to spend more time exploring this city. So what they're doing is they're basically boiling up huge vats of water, and then between them they're going into joining form so that they're beastier. They're stronger in beast form, but you basically stay the same because you're the Lord. So you get extra buffs even when you're not. God, that cake was rich. So, yeah, they're basically creating this huge, like, water. And they're trying to find some flowers or something to scent it. Then they're all going to have a bath, basically, because they're disgusting and they smell of blood and vomit and tears and dirt. So before they put on their armor properly, they're all trying to basically clean themselves up so they actually look like proper soldiers. Some of the people who weren't naturally from Periclus are being trained up as well. So you see some of them are starting to train. I mean, their skills are rudimentary compared to yours. But, you know, they're efficient and they're basically going to just train each other up. So that for mechanics-wise, they're all going to be the same skill level for me. I'm not going to have to sit there with, 38 different character sheets. They're all going to be the same. But they're going to do that because they're all going to train together. And the ones that, like Miles, they're all cursed with being these creatures forever. It can't be undone. And they don't feel like they can return to normal life, and their families are gone anyway. So they are heavily dedicated to you. Just means you can use them as a troop. So gives you something to role play as you walk into the small village with an army. But yes, so Freya, obviously, Paige is off counting treasure and identifying as much as she can. She's spending quite a bit of time with each one, investigating it, cataloguing it. Alith, well, you think it's Alith, new Alith version 2, he's basically just spending this time praying to this sword, which is very strange.
That's probably done about now, depending how long it took for that whole training ritual bath thing that had going on.
Yep. Well, we'll say for now, because you've not got to do anything yet, Freya. So, what would you like to do with your time? Your party seems to be mutating before your eyes.
Yeah, no.
Since you came to the city, you're like, what's happening to everybody?
Where's my character story arc, people?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting quite antsy because the vision that we saw from the dwarf priest, he was very clear that he didn't know if it was happening in days, weeks, months, years. And I'm quite concerned of how time is getting on, and
yeah, it could
we
take.
haven't even got anything yet, and
yeah,
I'm worried that my father and my village could be under attack, and I don't know, and I'm not there to help them, so I'm getting quite antsy about.
Yeah, we need to get on. It could take days, if not weeks, to search this city properly.
would there be any way of us coming back at another occasion, or would this city be lost?
No, it's going to be here. It's going to be ruins. I mean, people aren't going to stumble on it very often because it's been dozens of generations since people freely travelled across the plains. The story of the fear of the mist will exist for now. I mean, the village aren't going to suddenly go, shit, I really feel like going into the plains now. I'm pretty sure it's safe, guys. That, you know, so you've probably got
Something that
months before
I'd
anyone's
like
going
to
to discover this
explore in the
place.
future, but personally, I'd like to carry on with our journey and
Okay.
get on with the mission at hand.
Right, so
Well, I
you
don't know if I get a choice, but I would also choose the same option. Also, I've decided what my blade's going to look like.
what's it going to look like?
The Dark Saber. Hear my reasoning, right? It's got darkness, which resembles evil, but it's stained with the tints of light and goodness, which brings balance to the weapon.
And it's about 6 feet long.
Yeah, it's an extra long dark saber.
Making it a
Perfectly
great
balanced
sword.
as all things should be.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Yes.
yeah, now that I tossed that sword into a pocket dimension, so it's gone now.
In which we kind of look at you like, what the fuck?
Paige has finished counting. Okay, so what are we going to do with all this treasure? Are we going to all put it in the bag and take it with us?
Well, I assume we are buying an army with it.
It's going in the bag of holding that I have, and
And how much gold is it exactly?
Well, so it's
Well,
180,000
Yeah.
gold's worth of in coinage, and I mean at theoretical value, you're probably talking another 100 to 200,000 gold's worth of jewelry. However, if we try and trade that all in one go, it will flood the market and devalue. So we would have to sell that in bits because its value would decrease quickly. So you couldn't just go to one place and just dump 200 grand's worth of treasure because the people would be like, "What?" I mean, the only place we'd get a good coin for it would be Jornheim as well. This is Paige speaking, by the way.
Hey, you know a lot about currency all of a sudden.
Well, you have to remember, Paige has been travelling across the whole of Nurrenholm. She's the only one out that basically, before you guys met up, had actually travelled from town to town. So she's a bit more worldly wise to general life than you guys have been. You spent your entire lives in Norberg until shit kicked off.
I put the jewelry and the coins from the room into my bag of holding.
Okay. Are you going to wear any just as status symbols, or?
I mean, I've taken a tiara for myself, but that's just for when I feel like it.
Okay. Obviously, you've got some horses, but you've got foot soldiers now, so it's going to slow you down a little bit. It's going to take you about 2 days to get to Christiansen from where you are with the march, but the joinings can go faster, and if worse comes to worse, they can go into their beast forms. However, some of their beast forms are like rats, and they're not particularly fast over long distance with their little tiny legs. So,
We have 2 pack horses, so maybe if we pack them into a little bag, we can put them on the pack horse and we'll go a bit faster.
well,
What
here's
was
one.
the thing that I have the stats of in the true form? The warg, or did you say it was?
Warg, yeah. I think it's in the main player's handbook, actually. Just double check.
I can add it as an extra thing.
Wolf. I think it's Warg.
Warg, W-O-R-G.
W-A-R-G. Or Great Wolf. Direwolf.
Direwolf seems fitting.
Direwolf, yeah, that's better.
14 AC, 37 health.
Yep, that's it.
And is it the same as the Druid wild shape? If I'm in that shape and I fall, I just get up as me. Or if I fall in that shape, do I die?
I would say as it's a once a day polymorph, you probably return to your natural state. I mean, if you
Okay.
died and you're in adjoining form, you die because that's you
Yeah.
naturally. The wolf isn't
But in-
really your natural form as such. It's just an ability you now have to
Mhm.
to basically just let your natural side, the wolf side, just basically just take over for a while and become the wolf. But you're very weak in that state. But if it
Just
does
slightly
get,
faster.
yeah, it doesn't sound right. No, no, no. I don't like that. I don't like that. It doesn't fit with the story. No, if you die as a wolf, you die.
So yeah,
So-
I'd fall unconscious and remain as the wolf.
You would go unconscious and revert back to being a human, but
Okay.
you'd still have no hit points, basically.
okay,
So
that's fine.
it's not something you'd want to do go into combat. This is not some combat ability. I mean, if you got into
No, yeah.
combat, you wouldn't be completely without ability to defend yourself. But compared to who you are, it's a very weak state. Okay,
Mhm.
you gather all your stuff together. And there's no real food provisions here. There's nothing here that you can eat or drink. Well, there's water, actually. The water's fine.
I mean, I have strawberries and apples on my person, so if you need any food, we got some fruit.
Well, the soldiers, the joinings, will hunt for their own food.
And I have 7 days worth of ration.
Yeah. All lined up, these...
Sample making ingredients, which is what I've labelled it as.
Cool. All lined up, these soldiers look magnificent. And as you line up to leave the old castle, you can't help but feel changed by the fact that you now have hundreds of thousands of gold pieces on value on you in a greater holding bag and a small army of incredibly enhanced joining warriors at your beck and call. A far cry from when you left Norberg just a week or two ago. It's quite the transformation. But that is the journey you've taken. You've freed Beren and Tulia, and this is the final gift. It's almost as if it was ordained and destiny that you would basically find this old this Norenholm city that was lost hundreds of years ago. Given you're keen to get going, you start traveling again. The plains looks beautiful now. So since you slew the demon, the mist is gone. There's no mist. It's just basically clear, sloping fields. And it doesn't take long for you, with the soldiers' help, to find a path hidden. You couldn't see it from a distance, but as you get closer, you can see there's this stone path under the growth. It's been overgrown, but it's still pretty firm underneath. So it's actually a lot easier for the horses to walk on and for the soldiers to walk on, basically. But from a distance, it just looks like you're walking on greensward. But in truth, it's an old road that has been forgotten. You travel for the first day. Another thing the soldiers, when they were at the city, they basically pulled together a lot of equipment. So not only did they get arms and armor, they also got bedrolls, tents, kindling and firewood, and basically they've all got travel packs on. So classic army style. Each one of them has almost like a rucksack on their back that carries provisions. So a team of 4 have a tent between them with poles and the materials to drape over the tent. And the bedrolls, each one's got their own bedroll as well. So these basically guys are kitted out for exploring. And for the ones that weren't from Pericles originally, they taught them how to do it, so they all now carry. And given their sort of stronger state, they find the going quite easy. And you travel for the first day, and by that night, there's a strange sight. As you pitch up your glamping tent and get yourself ready, they start basically preparing 10 tents for
They wouldn't fit them all in, so I'm glad they had their own.
No, they're self-sufficient. They basically have 10 tents they pitch up around you. So you've got your one in the middle, and they basically camp around you. Glenn comes to you and says, "We will take the watches, sire. You rest." So basically, the soldiers are offering to do all the watches, though there's not much that's going to attack you when there's 40 armed men in a camp with you at the centre. So you find yourself, strangely, having an incredibly good night's sleep.
Well, how boring.
I think I would even, though they're all watching, I'd probably take a watch with them and spend some time trying to talk to them and learn some of their names.
Okay. Yeah, so you start to get to know them, and I can give you a long list of 48 names if you wish. So far, you know of 2. Well, 2 plus. You notice, by the way, that Tilla. Sorry, there's actually 39 warriors now because Tilla has taken up a set of armor. He's not getting converted because he's got a wife. What's this?
Make him more of an animal in bed.
Alith attacks with a Jimmy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just saw Jimmy.
I named the sword Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Oh, that is so sweet. 13.
Can we
I'll just make sure the sword works.
Can whilst they're doing that, can we have like a ritual for Jimmy to say goodbye and like have a grave and stuff?
The sword is Jimmy's grave.
Well, basically, Jimmy still exists, and at some
You're gonna
point
have
you
a
might end up battling against him. Not that's going to be particularly terrifying, but it might be an emotional thing.
Master!
Hello! I've come to kill you, alright? Whee! Don't do that Eldritch Blast on me, Git! You turned your back on our master!
I like Eldritch Blast, it feels good.
Feels real good. Right, anyway. Yes, the sword doesn't talk to you. And there is a moment where your soul pines for the company of Jimmy, but you remember that he was...
The sword isn't out.
Sorry?
I didn't have a sword on me. No one knows where my sword went.
No, I know, but I mean, what? Did I say anything about your sword? Oh, if I did, I didn't
Yeah,
mean it.
you said my sword doesn't talk to me.
No, it doesn't talk to you. It's gone, hidden in a
Swords
pocket
don't
dimension.
talk to anyone.
No, it's gone. It's literally gone.
So,
I don't even know where it is.
Gayton, during the night, you spend some time talking to your men. Make an intelligence check.
Oh God. This is not my strong point.
Okay. You can remember 12 of the names of the soldiers that you talked to in the evening before they all sat down. So, you're getting there. You're like,
Bad.
Good. I mean, it takes me a whole term to learn like its name.
Boris, come to the front of the class, please. Oh, my name's not Boris, sir.
You.
Yeah. Bold one. One that looks
Bold
like a
one.
dog.
Oi, Ginge!
Anyway, you have a fantastic night's sleep. There's always at least 4 or 5 soldiers on watch, basically just patrolling the perimeter. And even during the night, Gayton still occasionally gets up. Have you tried to go into joining form yet, or have you just stayed as a human?
I think I'd probably be tempted to try it
Okay.
with the other joinings while the other Aleph and Freya are sleeping.
Yeah, before I go to bed, I want to go do something.
Okay.
I'm going to go walk off into the woods. I don't know if there's any woods around.
There's not. There's just empty plains.
I'm going to go walk away.
Okay.
A solid while.
Are you going
Yeah.
to take
Oh,
a
no.
You take
So I'm
about
not-
10 minutes, and you pass over a hillock that looks quite smooth from a distance, but has a kind of quite a drop on the other side, and you find yourself in an alcove kind of below the eye line of the others, even though it's pitch black, and they can't see you anyway.
And then I'm going to try for the first time my wings. See
Okay.
if I can actually use them.
You quietly say Jetric's name to remind yourself of the journey you took, and you imagine flying in the air, much as you did when you used to cast the spell to fly. And these ethereal wings start to appear, arching from your back, sort of growing through your armor and just spreading out. And they flap. Woof, 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 woof. And you rise up into the air, and for the first time you find yourself naturally flying with your own wings. Freya's like, where's my shit?
Yeah.
Where's my magic laser eyes?
Yeah. You know, there's Paige with her lion. Gaten's becoming a wolf. He's getting wings like an angel. He's becoming like an eagle. And then there's
Fly
Freya.
like an eagle.
Freya, day by
Yeah.
day, becoming more
So,
like
this is the design that I want my wings.
Freya the Goth.
Okay.
They're very grey. If anyone hasn't gathered yet, by the way, I'm now Fallen Azuma.
Yep.
I mean, I assume James knows, but
Yeah,
So it
so
was
Call you
having that kind of vibe.
yeah.
a fallen angel.
basically, there's nothing too OP that's happened with Harry's character. He's changed path as a warlock, and he's become a
Can he do any
Hex.
of his spells that he could before?
And yeah, I can do all new shit. So basically, I mean, you'll find out what I do with
He's
my blade.
still a powerful sorcerer to Gaten at the moment. That's all Gaten thinks he is.
Still a
He's just a
bird.
grey, powerful sorcerer that
Yeah.
still likes his
Yes.
boulders.
I'd also, whilst I'm flying, I'd like to find the nearest bird, and then I'd like to try and
Woman
I'm a-
or actual bird?
like just a bird,
all right, bird.
and
Hello.
I'd like to summon my sword for the first time,
Okay.
make it extend in my hand, and then decapitate it.
Okay. I mean, you
Can I
can't
be
do
one
that.
of my were people?
Yeah, shit. Where's Dotty? Who's Dotty? Oh, you know, the werebird. Oh, I think she went flying in her natural form.
An animagus.
Strangely, the birds don't go anywhere near you. They find you quite terrifying, and there's not many flying at night anyway. So you fly around and you struggle to find anything. You look down though, however, and you do see a small fox. Small fox.
You care about killing something. I just want
American fox.
to throw my blade at the ground like full pelt.
Okay. The blade embeds in the ground, bearing up to its hilt.
And then I'd like to reappear it in my hand.
Hexblade.
I'm just going to be flying around testing out the shit because like I just need to get used to it so I don't fuck up and
Okay.
never come back.
So during that strange night, Freya, you have a beautiful night's sleep while the strange werewolf creature joining just goes kind of, "You're human, werewolf, human." Well, joining.
I'm imagining Paige is out with her, you know, lion having a little bit of a ride. And I'm just myself and Tiller, so I've just decided I'd rather go to bed than speak to her.
Yeah. You say, "All right, Tiller." Tiller looks at you. Hopefully, no, wait, he's married. Oh, all right,
Good night.
night. He's faithful.
I'm into powerful men and lovely women. He's neither.
He's
Off
neither
we
of
go.
those. Okay. You have an
I do go
interesting.
for a long rest though.
Yes, you. I'm assuming
I
you're
do
going to
get
have a long
lovely
rest.
long rest.
No.
No, he can't fuck around in the sky and get a long rest. Now he's getting a short rest.
He only does it for about half an hour. Yes, you all get your 8 hours, and you're woken in the morning to the smell of fresh coffee brewing over a pot. And you wake up to find the men outside. They're frying up some fresh meat, and it smells delightful. Hope you don't mind, sir. This is Glenn talking to you. We went out, did a bit of hunting last night, so got ourselves some fresh meat for the morning. All cooked up, ready for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Make
There you
sure
go.
that everyone eats.
We've all eaten, sir.
Excellent.
We just want to make sure that you had enough rest. You had a hell of a day yesterday.
Yes.
Well, another few days. You have a fantastic breakfast. It's lovely to have someone cooking for you, to be honest. And then you set off and travel in buoyant spirit. Some of the men start singing, and there's a sort of festival feel in the group. This sort of sense of renewed purpose. All these people just days ago were cursed for eternity, and suddenly they have control over their own lives again, and they're following a leader, and they have a mission to save the people of their realm. They couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. Their life has meaning. Even if they die in service, they're going to be happy because their life at the end had some purpose and meaning, rather than this eternal cursed state of feeding on raw flesh and being always in bestial form. So, yeah, they are very jubilant all the time, very happy. But they do maintain discipline. And the end of the second day, you can see in the far distance the settlement of Christensen. And beyond that, because the plain sort of goes slowly down, so you're looking down, almost like it's a valley, but it's not. You look down and you can see quite far away, very far away in fact, but it is visible as the sun starts to set, the town of Christensen. It's quite a sprawling town. It's definitely bigger than a village and than any of the places you've been to so far. And you can see there's lots of ships in dock, and the vast waters of the Great Lake just disappear off into the distance like a sea. You can see that Christensen is obviously a port town, or a farming community. A fishing community as well. But you're aware that if you were to travel there now, it would be dark. So you stop. The men line up next to you. What would you like to do, sirs? Do we push on and reach the town during the night, or do we wait until the morning when we can go in? Because obviously, nearly, over 40 armed warriors walking into the town is going to look a bit suspect.
I mean, personally, I think we should go in the morning. However, I know that they're your men, Gaten.
I think that's right. It gives everyone a chance to rest. I don't want anyone to be feeling like they're dragging behind or anything.
Also concerned about starting something that we don't need to. Don't need them attacking us thinking we're attacking them.
Yes, there's quite a few of us now. Maybe it's best that not all of us go into the town. I'm not sure about that yet. I'll have to think about it.
Okay.
Probably in the morning.
Well, actually, yeah, it's 40 odd people. It's just going to seem like a party in a massive town like that, isn't it? It's hardly an army to a town that size.
It's not that big. It's tiny compared to Pericles. I mean, it's probably just a small bit bigger than Tordheim, and just.
What is this? We're at, sorry.
Sorry.
Which one are we going into?
This is Christensen.
Oh yeah, no. So I thought we were at the Jornheim.
No, not Jornheim yet.
Oh
Wow,
yeah, So
that is a big place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No, yeah.
No,
this is going to seem like an army.
Tiller
We'll go together.
rides forward. Would you like me to go ahead, sir?
They know you there, don't they?
I come from Christensen. So does Miles.
Oh, so
I
yeah,
too would like to go.
if you wish to go with Miles, riding with you,
And warn them of our.
I will relieve him from his
Tomorrow.
post for that.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so do you want to go as well, do you, Aleph?
Yeah, I will go to Overwatch.
Okay.
And-
I mean, we're going because we know the town, sire.
Yes, well, I want to sleep in a real bed.
Okay. Freya, what are you doing? Are you going to stay with the camp for the night and then arrive in the morning to light and splendor, or are you going to go in tonight?
Staying with the camp.
Okay, so you stay with Gaten. The three of you ride on for another few hours. It's pitch black by the time you approach, and you arrive at there's like an outer balustrade, like a small defense wall that goes around the town, and there's multiple gates. You see that Tiller and Miles quite naturally steer towards a certain gate. You can see also that there's still lights coming from inside the town. There's lights coming from ships and out of the harbour. And there's several guards standing by the gate as you approach. I'm not sure if Harry heard any of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Ellie's trying to say something.
So what are you going to do? Do you want us to handle this, sire?
Well, you know them by the sounds of it.
Well, I'm not sure we know these particular guards, but
I'm unarmed, so I show no threat.
okay. Stay back a little bit, sir. We'll just go and speak to them. They walk forward because they're walking. They walk forward, and then some of the guards come out, and you can see them having a sort of a quiet word to each other for a few minutes, and then they return. Yeah, we've got free access to pass into the town. We will have to present ourselves to the council tomorrow, but for tonight we can go and stay in the inn. So this is good. So he leads you in. You can see that the town itself is packed with houses, and it's dominated by one whole section of the town which is just warehouses. This is obviously some sort of stop-off point for goods going between the south and Jornheim. And Tiller explains to you. So this is a bit of an overflow town for Jornheim. A lot of the traffic passes through here to Jornheim, and often some of the traders from the main city have secondary facilities here where they can store a lot of goods for a much lower cost than the warehouse space in Jornheim. So it's kind of fairly industrialized for its size, though its main income is either from rental space for the merchants and the fishermen. That's pretty much where the money's at. They're a little bit to themselves, but we should be okay. But we will need to speak to the council. I don't know who's in power now. There's always a freely elected leader from the nobility. They are technically of Norenholm descent, though, and they are part of the Norenholm Alliance, but they don't see themselves as being Norenholm. They see themselves as being independent, or if anything, aligned to Jornheim, though the people in Jornheim treat people of Christensen as if they're Norenholm peasants. So they're kind of stuck in the middle a bit, really. He's saying this to you as they walk through to this. There's several inns here. You can tell a lot of traders come here. So we've got some fine inns up by the merchants district. Or if you want to go down to the sailors district, there's some pretty riley, wild places to stay. Not as clean. Lice guaranteed down there, but up in the merchants section, there's some fine establishments. Where would you like to stay?
Anywhere will do. Just merchants sound fine.
Okay, but the merchants is a lot nearer, so you get to an inn. You can't see from the outside what the actual inn's called, but you walk inside, and it's fairly pleasant inside. There's a lovely hearth, fires burning warm, several staff members just walking around serving drinks. It's dark, but it's still not late in the evening, so there's quite a rowdy bunch in here socializing. There's not much food out. I think it's a bit too late in the evening now for food. Everyone's just basically drinking, socializing. A few people are dancing, a couple of people are singing in the corner. You go up to the bar.
There's no question, like our armor or anything.
Yes and no. So Tiller looks round and notices that no one's really paying any attention. Goes to the bar, leans on it. 3 beers, please, Inkeep. And he looks back to you. I mean, one would assume that a lot of the mercenary companies either have a base here or they travel through here. So there's quite a few sort of armed units that travel from here to Jornheim. So wouldn't be too unusual to see armed soldiers in the town. But obviously we're showing colours and designs that they won't have seen before. But we'll see. We'll see. You settle down just to speed it up because keep the others involved. But you have a fairly pleasant evening. No one really goes up
I
to
was
you.
planning to go to bed, to be honest, and move on to the next day.
No one really goes up to you. It's a big enough place where you're left to yourselves. It's not like a small village where, as you walk in through the swing doors, the guy on the piano stops playing, ding, 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 and everyone turns and goes, "Howdy, stranger." No, it's not like that here. Basically, they're used to strangers, and they just ignore you, and you get a fabulous night's sleep. That it's going to cost you 2 silver pieces for the night.
That's good to know that I practically look like a grey drow thing. Doesn't bring up any questions.
Yeah, no, I mean, the lighting's not particularly bright in here. It's quite dark. And the fire in the fire pit creates lots of shadows around the room, so they didn't get a great look at you. Your colour would have not shown up very much at all. Anyway, the morning comes. You guys, all 3 of you have had another, well, 4 of you if you include Paige. 42 of you. 43 of you if you include everybody else. 43 in the party. That's a party size. You wake up the next morning again to fresh food cooked. The men have been out hunting again. Oh, sorry, I'm so tired tonight. And everyone mounts up. You wake up a little bit later. It's so comfortable in the bed. You don't really feel like it needs to be a rush. You start making your way down 3 abreast in formation. As you approach the city, you see a number of warriors start to line up outside the gate. They're wearing what looks like a black, heavy armor. It's a material-based armor, so probably like a heavy, cured leather. And they wear black, feathery cloaks. You count about 60 of them lined up as you as you approach. Obviously, you haven't got Tiller or Mars with you, but Glenn.
Yeah, I'll be coming out and meeting them in the morning by the front gate.
I thought by them going ahead, they would have pre-warned them about us coming in the morning, so we wouldn't have had to have any confrontation. So...
They tried. They did. They went around and they tried. So Alith went to bed. They went around trying to find some people to talk to. So you don't know what's happening. Alith, you woke up quite late.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to be quite pissed off with Tiller.
Well, he's not perfect. He hasn't been here for years.
I'm a grungy 17-year-old, so I'm pissed off with Tiller.
Ugh, not fair.
Does that mean I'm not meeting them at the front gate in time?
No. No. You wake up and everyone downstairs, you're like, oh, what time is it? The sun's up.
Oh, fuck.
You go downstairs, people are all talking to you. What's happening outside the North Gate? I don't know. There's soldiers everywhere. So I've heard that the Black Ravens have mobilised. Well, that's a bit strange.
Yes, hello. What is this about?
Hello.
So,
Hello. Did you have a good night's sleep? This is the innkeep.
yes, I overslept, supposedly.
I see. You see him eyeing you up and down a little bit. Interesting. Interesting. Seems that you've arrived at an interesting time. Seems to be a bit of an army camped outside the village, outside the town.
You said they're black, not white. I was expecting an army, but not a black one, you see.
Well, the Black
Not
Ravens.
yeah, I accept all colours.
Black Warriors matter. Anyway, it's the Black Ravens, the mercenary company. They got a big base here. They were mobilised last night. You've knocked on the door, by the way, where Tiller and Miles were staying, but they're not in the rooms. Guys, you get a little nervous as you approach. Glenn orders his men to fan out, and you can see that the men, in a fairly organised fashion, some of the new recruits are a little bit wobbly and they're quite out of practice, but they give their best attempt at looking efficient as they sort of spread out into single file and approach. The Ravens approach as well. You kind of like have these two lines of people walking forward. The Ravens stop. You notice they have not drawn their weapons. One of the riders walks forward with a big plume. As you do, you see two men come running out of the gates as fast as they can. Golden armor glinting as white cloaks fanning out, and they got the white the word that I've said several times tonight in roleplay and have now forgotten.
Black
Helmet?
Raven, Scarlet's plume.
Plume. Thank you, Charlotte. Yeah, with the white plumes. This looks like Miles and Tiller. As you see, there's this main guy with the black plume starting to step forward, and he looks back. You're still quite far away as you approach, and you can see them talking. Is nodding, and then there's a kind of a moment of tenseness, and then you see one of the gold armored men embrace the guy in the black outfit with the black plume, and you can see like white plume and black plumes kind of like interfolding as the two men embrace and tap each other on the shoulder. You turn around and you see it's Tiller, and he's like waving, kind of waving to you. Do you approach?
Well, I would normally have approached first. However, now I feel kind of like, rather than being the leader of the group, I feel now that Gaten's got his followers. He's become the new.
Gaten still isn't the leader. He's just Gaten with horns and lots of friends.
And an army. Yeah, no, well, this all happened. This obviously all happened quite a far way. So there's nothing for you to do. So, Freya,
Okay.
what do you want to do? Do you want
Then
to
I'll-
exert authority over Gaten? I mean, how strong is this jealous feeling starting to emerge in you?
I
I
remember being the
I
leader, to be honest.
I look towards Gaten and kind of see whether he's going to step forward, and then
I'll sort of hesitate and then look to you and be like, you're far better with words than I.
and
Maybe
then I'll,
you should talk to them.
so I'll step forward alone to try and speak with the
Okay.
leader of the group.
You ride forward. As you ride forward, you can see Tiller and Miles walking forward with just this man. The other Ravens seem to be a little bit more relaxed now. Some of them are talking amongst themselves. You can see there's this general kind of stand down stance they're taking. Freya, let me introduce you to Murph. They kind of
Hello, Beth. Very pleasure to meet you. I extend my hand out for a handshake.
Yeah, he basically steps up to you and he bows, and you notice that he wears beautiful black armor, and they've got these cloaks, and they're made of feathers. They actually look like raven's feathers, and they sort of flow out, and they have raven feathers in their plume. Beautiful lady, kind of bows and kisses your hand. I hear you are of royalty from Norberg.
Yes, my father is Jarl. You may have heard of him.
It's an honor to meet you. I've been told by Tiller that you potentially have some custom for us. Though it looks like you already have quite an impressive army. Is this just an honor guard, or is...
It seems to be an entourage that we have accustomed. We're coming to terms with it as each day passes. However, if we're able to interact and do some sales with your town, that would be amazing. And we've got some things to discuss while we're here as well.
Well, we're only a small outfit here, madam. The Black Ravens, and we have about 200 men at arms here who are stationed here, waiting for our next assignment. I'm not. I can't speak for the rest of the regiment, but we can certainly discuss what your requirements are and see if there's any way that we can service it. Out of character, by the way, don't forget, guys, that originally you were recommended to the Scarlet Company, which is based in Jornheim. But, you know, given the amount of money you've got, you might be able to hire both or more.
I was going to say, can we not just try and get as many as we can along the way as well as that? That was my plan.
Okay. They're led, so basically they offer for you to come with you. Milady, if you would like your men to hold up in our barracks, we have capacity because we normally have more soldiers here, but some are already out on missions. So if you would wish to use some of our facilities as a preemptive gift in anticipation of your custom. And Tiller here, who I trust implicitly, we used to serve together years ago when he was in the Ravens, and he's a fine, trustworthy man, tells me that you have the coin, which obviously opens the doors to our hearts here at the Black Ravens. He throws you a dashing smile, and it kind of almost like the sun glints off of his pearly white teeth as he smiles at you. He seems charming enough, and you love his armor.
I 100% love his armor. I am a little bit worried about how much gold Tiller has told them about. However, I'm not wishing to disclose money value yet with the Ravens. However, I will thank them for their kindness and start ushering the Gaten and the men to come forward.
As you start merging together, you see the Grey Knight, Aleph, emerge from the gates after catching up with you. So we have the army of gold and white.
A night's sleep.
Yes, well, supposedly I didn't get the choice on my sleep patterns.
No.
Didn't set an alarm.
He didn't have. Well, you could use Jimmy before, but he doesn't have Jimmy as an alarm clock anymore, so he's having to get used to that now. The three of you approach. Well, Paige is also with you, but she sits further back, quiet and contemplative during these unusual times. You're ushered into the city, whereas before you stayed in the inn in the merchants' quarter. You're taken across to the quite near the seafront, and you as a group, and you see people coming out in the streets to stare as these golden-clad army with their white cloaks and plumes and the dove insignias sort of march, and there's a lot of appraising looks for the men and women of the town. And you notice, Gaten, that your men stand just that little bit taller, and they march just that little bit more rigidly as they make their way through the town, just really trying to make a statement. I mean, the armor really is polished and shiny and doesn't look like it's ever been used. But, you know, you certainly look pretty damn fearsome with your horned helm. And Gaten obviously looks like the warrior leader, but Freya stands at the front with Murph, the regional leader for the Black Ravens, and the riding alongside the Grey Knight, the strange, enigmatic Grey Knight that people are only just starting to get used. You see Paige just keeps staring at you, Aleph, and just nodding, confused, and then putting her head down again. You make your way. So basically, the Black Raven's base is effectively just a merchant's warehouse that's been converted. So you've gone down to the merchant's quarter, but down by the docks, and you can see there's like loads of big ships that are in harbour, and then there's warehouses nearby where obviously a lot of the merchants store their goods, and you can see quite a lot of guards around. They wear a different armour. They wear just a sort of like a basic leather armour with a little blue cloak. It's very low key. whereas the Black Ravens look very dashing and impressive. You have no idea if they can fight, but they've obviously put a lot of money into looking good because that's how they get jobs. You know, a rich merchant might hire them to transport a particularly prized cargo, and you know, that's just how it works. So yeah, you go into this big merchant's hall, and you can see it's broken up into sections where there's like racking for products that are being transported, and there's another whole section which has been broken up into cubicles where the soldiers can sleep, and your men are offered pallets in the sleeping quarter with the other soldiers. It's quite early in the day still, it's only just morning, so you're offered some further breakfast if you wish to have it. When would a lady like to discuss business? Obviously, you've only just arrived, and it would be improper to demand such a thing so early in the day. If there's somewhere you wish to go, I'm happy to act as a guide to all four of you to the city.
Well, there are important matters to discuss, however, we've only just arrived. We'd happily accept a tour of your town before we make any important decision.
Indeed,
Would
indeed.
be
And I suspect, yes, and I suspect the lord of the town will have heard of your arrival by now, and I'm expecting some sort of soldier or squad from the main town to approach us at some point today. It's certainly an unusual occurrence for have a small army appear from the plains to the north, which no one travels to. Yes.
Well, when he is available, then we will make ourselves available to him.
Yes.
Indeed. I mean, I can offer you some advice. So the lord here is a very willful woman called Ravena, and she fiercely independent is one way of putting it. She's of Norenholm stock, but she sees herself as a city girl, and she has visions of making Christensen as big and as proud as Jornheim. But the truth is, we just don't have the capacity here for such a thing. The water here is very shallow, and some of the bigger merchant ships can't port here at the docks. So
Sounds like one after my own heart.
Shit. Hold on.
Roll for seduction.
Here back.
Hold on.
Actually, I've got to be right back. There's a cat in my room and it's padding at the door, and I don't want it to have an accident in the bedroom. Be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do with Gayton currently is that he's going to need to learn to be a leader. He's not used to being a leader.
No.
So he'll have the people and he'll kind of tell them what to do when they don't give him a choice. But otherwise he's just going to be like, do what you want.
I mean, is this something you're going to want to talk to Glenn about?
Which one is Glenn?
He's kind of like a
One
junior
done
officer from your joinings.
Is he the one that done the ceremony?
Yes.
So yeah. At
He's the
some
one
point,
that would have become
probably
leader
involved.
if you hadn't appeared and killed the last one.
Would I have known that?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll talk to him the next chance we get then.
Okay. Yeah, the soldiers settle in, and Glenn comes up to you, sits on your pallet with you. Bit uneasy around here, boss. Obviously, all these soldiers. I mean, do you sense any treachery? I don't, but it's been a long time since I've ever been around people, so it's a bit. I'm a bit nervous.
I just think that Well, we have quite a display. We're hardly walking unnoticed,
that.
is all.
It's all right. Harry's gone as well.
So I
He
believe they're just.
literally, it's the first time he's ever done that, but he literally just started like meowing and we're going at the door, and I was like, oh no, go, go, go.
Yeah, I believe they're just on edge.
Yeah.
I don't think they will find any trouble here.
I
Okay.
would quite like to go out on the water, but I'm not gonna like force that upon anyone. If that comes up.
Yeah. Well, it will at some point.
Perfect.
Okay, you settle in for the day. You relax for a little bit, and do you start to go around the town, or do you wait for this envoy to arrive?
I'd
Freya.
like to go around the town. So, but I've asked for if anyone's available to give us a tour.
Yes, well, Murph would be honoured to give you a tour. Glenn advises that a couple of your men. Basically, Glenn is aware that Freya is the ultimate leader here, as she is the nobility from Norberg and effectively has the authority from Jarl. So he sees you as basically his like military leader, but he sees Freya as the political leader, effectively. So Glenn would speak to you to talk to Freya about things via you, so that you act as the filter. And he says, I'd feel more comfortable, sire, if a couple of my men went with Freya, just as a guard, but secondly as a statement.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Is Freya with us at the moment?
No, but she was talking about going to the town, and
Okay.
Glenn, hearing this, mentioned it to you.
I think I'm having a conversation with Murph
Yeah,
about.
Murphy's all over you, basically. Because he thinks you're pretty, but mostly because you've got loads of gold. And,
Yeah, that's the bit I don't like. He seems a bit sleazy.
well, it's his
but-
job. His job is
Yeah,
to
exactly.
get work. I mean, it's
Oh,
not his fault.
I'm not judging him yet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So
he's not-
tell me of Norberg, Freya. I'm very interested to hear about the place. If
Oh, it's a
if you would grace me with your time.
wonderful town. I'd be more than honoured to grace you with time.
Thank you, milady.
It's a lovely town. I mean, it's not as large as some of the ones that we'll be visiting, but we have everything that we need, and everyone's so kind and trusting, and cares for one another in a way that I've not experienced before.
Well, since basically, you haven't found the other towns to be as warm, in your mind anyway. So if Norberg is so peaceful and beautiful, why are you here looking for a mercenary army?
We were given a warning from a dwarf priest. We saw prophecies of an orc army travelling down. Basically, from what we can tell, any orc that exists is coming, and we're going to need to batter them. And we cannot do so without any form of army. We may be a sweet town, but we're not filled with mercenaries.
I see. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's not our normal job spec. Normally we guard caravans or
To
get...
join us, however, if you wish to join us by our side, we'd be honoured to have you there.
No. I mean, well, obviously we'll take any work that we deem as righteous, and when the coin is good. But obviously there are much more inherent risks there, taking part in such a large scale. I mean, obviously we'd want payment, even if this army doesn't arrive. So, we'll be careful. He takes you out to the town. He shows you around some of the local shops. There's some beautiful sort of craft shops. There's a lot of food places selling fish. There is definitely a freshwater fish industry going on here, and you see a lot of sort of equine related activities. You even see some strange sort of amphibious looking humanoids walking at one point, going as they walk past, which is very strange to you coming from Norberg, which is like heavily human orientated. But you have heard that the further south you go, the more diverse the races get. So you try not to make too big of a thing about it. And eventually he takes you to a small restaurant with beautiful open tables laid out with canopies over them shaped like roses. And it looks out over this vast, beautiful river that flows down into the bay of the Great Lake. And I said, he looks to you. I thought we could stop here for lunch and maybe talk some business.
I would. I'm happy to talk business. However, I feel like I need to talk with the lord of the town first before we discuss numbers.
Certainly. I mean, Ravena, I'm sure is trying to find you even now, but I wouldn't hold your breath out. She doesn't hold much allegiance to Norrenholm. In fact, she kind of rejects some of the obvious markers that she is, a Norrenholm maid. She wishes the civilized city folk would come here more, and this would become prosperous as a town. But there are certain limitations here, but she won't see it. She says anybody who doesn't believe in her vision is too stupid to understand. So, whatever. Who am I to argue with a lady? So, how many men are you thinking anyway? Well, we're not cheap.
I mean, at this point, we're trying to get as many as possible. I think the larger the manpower we have, the better chance we stand.
Yeah. I mean, to undertake a battle of such magnitude, we would probably need to go in full strength, I would suggest, because, as a mercenary, we deal in risks and certainties. If we feel like we're all going to die in a cause, we won't engage. That's just not how mercenaries work. We fight for coin, but we don't fight to just die. However, we always make a good account of ourselves, and we have a pension plan in place for any of our soldiers who die. Double the coin that they would have earned from the engagement goes to their next of kin. So that the warriors are encouraged to know that a good price would fall to their families if they were to pass in the battle. And our soldiers are brave, loyal, skilled, highly skilled in bow, infantry, and mounted combat. We have a few assassins as well, if that's something you wish to engage in. So we have the facilities to help.
Well, I understand that you've mentioned about not being willing to engage if death is on the table. However, I know with the pension scheme is a wondrous idea. However, I cannot promise that death will not be on the table.
Well, that's why we would only want to go full strength, because we would need to have some certainties that we would survive. And the coin would have to be pretty mighty to pay for such a large host. Well, we have about 800 warriors and about 200 ancillaries that we would be able to field for you at this present time. However, the costs would be extraordinarily high. I mean, no disrespect, but Norberg is not going to be that rich with coin. The best I can do, and I have been considering this since we first met this morning, is that we could do the 800 troops, 200 ancillaries delivered to Iorengas, engaged for 1 month, and then return at 2 gold per day per member, and then a 2 gold additional bonus to the families of anyone that falls in battle. So yeah, that would be 16,000 gold minimum, plus then the death tax effectively for any of the soldiers that lose their lives. As you
I
can
will
see, this is probably going to be outside of the financial realms of most towns.
Oh. I will take your numbers into consideration. However, I do not consider myself a full leader of the clan that I'm traveling with. I like to think of them as my equal companions. If you do not mind me discussing these figures with them first before giving you a reply, I would like to take that approach.
Just going to check my
However,
maths.
we will be able to give you the answer you require by sundown. Quick maths. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 3
D&D
is
Beyond
4.
is really annoying me now.
What's that, sorry?
D&D Beyond is annoying me.
Why?
Because I'm trying to homebrew a feat that gives me all the benefits of the joining thing. And if I put it in the minus charisma first as the first thing and then +1 to strength, con, armor, it only minuses the charisma. If I do it the other way around, it only adds. But it shows on, if I click on charisma, that there is a -1. It just doesn't calculate it.
Could you do it as 2 different homebrews?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. But it really bugs me that that's not neat.
Yeah.
So, Murph's redone his maths. So that was my bad, out of character. It's actually 48,000 gold for 1 month at 2 gold per day. That doesn't include the death tax. So that'll be another 2 gold on top for anyone that dies.
Well, my response still stands of the fact that I may be seen as a leader, however, I see myself as an equal to my counterparts, and I must discuss with them first if that's on the table. But however, we can give them an answer by sundown of what we would like to do.
Indeed. Okay, well, I look forward to your response, and I hope very much. He looks at the sun. I have another engagement now, but it's been lovely to sit and speak to you in this beautiful place. You noticed, by the way, you didn't blanch too much at the money, so he's feeling a bit more confident. And then he gets up and...
I didn't want to shut it down, but at the same time, I didn't want to be like, I got that. I was kind of like...
Smart change, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, you remember Tiller saying the average cost for a merchant is 1 gold piece a day. He's charging 2 gold pieces a day, plus the death tax. And obviously his concern is that the risks...
making it a bit iffy about choosing.
You can always
one.
question him about it. I mean, basically, the general thought is gold a day is for when they're doing caravan runs. While there's danger, you know...
No, I don't mind that, but it's the death tax that I was concerned about.
But it gives an
that's
incentive for people to fight, knowing that their families will be looked after.
Yeah, but that's why I want to discuss with the others first before handing over such a large coin.
Well, I mean, the death taxes, even if all of them died, if every single one of them died, it's only another 1,600 gold.
No, it's not. It's another 48.
No, it's only 2 gold extra if they die. So on top of the money they're getting paid for the month. So the death tax, and that's only 1,600 gold if all 800 died.
Which is likely.
Well, you don't know that.
However, if they all die, nobody knows that money was going anywhere.
No, there are guilds and enforcers of such things, and there are a lot of companies, and they all protect each other against non-paying customers.
No, we wouldn't screw them over.
Otherwise, every customer would think like that. So, anyway, he leaves that with you. Alathan Gayton. I've got to be honest, guys. I am getting too tired to GM tonight. I'm really struggling. It's not. I don't normally say that this early in the night, but I am really fucking struggling to stay awake. I've not been feeling great. I did say earlier today I was feeling a bit knackered, but I'm trying to plow on because I want to get through the story. There's some really cool bits I want to get to, but so if I start nodding off, shout at me, or I might have to just stop the session. Well,
Freya becomes storyteller.
Yeah, Freya, it's like God just kind of goes.
So guys, I'd like to give you 18,000 XP points for today's session.
Wait, I'm awake. What happened? Why is everyone leveled? What's going on?
Oh God!
Why is
now.
everyone level 50?
Yeah, what happened, boss? Yeah, no, I'm really fucking whacked out. I'm trying not to be. I'm trying not to be. Don't know what it is.
That's all right. Well, if you need to call it short, call it short. But if you're able to continue, then.
Well, I'm trying because you guys have given up your evenings to play, but it's
All right.
not as much fun for me as normal because I'm just pulling the last strands of energy from my body just to do it, and you know, some big stuff's going to start happening, and I'm like, is my brain ready for this? It's been fairly pedestrian so far, but it starts going up a notch. Am I just going to go?
I mean, all like my character done so far is sleep, and then.
I was going to say, I've walked a long way and then I overslept.
See, now I feel like shit. Right, okay, let's carry on, and I'll just play through.
I'm joking.
No, it's true. It's been. I mean,
The story has progressed.
the story's
Yeah, and
progressed, but
both of them have become like some epic being. I'm just chilling in my hole.
Honestly, I'm completely chill with it ending early if it means that, like, well, I mean, Ojo will be back next week.
Yeah.
it's just been a long day and a fucking long. I still haven't recovered from yesterday. I was a mess yesterday.
Do we get 600 XP for the walk? If not, can we just go hunting for 600 XP
Yeah.
worth of food for the
I
village?
agree with that.
I think I need a bit more than 600 to level
No,
up.
you're playing the character. I will say that
1,900 would be great.
just around lunchtime, you do get a message. An envoy comes from Ravena.
Which time? I said I'd give it. Oh, is it still the same day? Because otherwise I've really screwed up.
It's the same day, yeah. I mean, all you did is this morning. Yeah, all you've done this morning is you went for a little walk around the town with Murph.
Yeah.
He's taken you to a little sweet spot by a river, and he's
Put a hit
basically
on
started talking money, and he's put some numbers in your head. Classic sales technique. Throw the big numbers out there, see how they react, walk away, give them time to stew on it, with the
try and
view of
bargain
then
it out
preparing
later.
to haggle. I mean, you suspect, you're not stupid, Freya, you're a clever woman. You know that he's probably basically just putting that out there to see whether you're going to be naive enough to just go, yeah, sure.
Well, we're gonna haggle it down, but I need to talk to the others first. And I'm gonna play it off like you did mention. Norberg isn't the richest, and we've coined all that we have together.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically paying 60 gold to each of the soldiers. Well, actually, it's not like that because they also have to pay the ancillaries, but he doesn't charge you for the ancillaries. It effectively comes out of the overall pot, and the soldiers don't get 60 gold; they get much less. Some goes to the ancillaries, some go to the officers, some goes to head office. You'll probably find that the soldiers get like maybe 30 gold for the campaign, and then they get the 2 gold bonus to their family if they die. But 30 gold's a fucking fortune. Absolute fortune. I mean, they're going to be rich people, each one of them with 30 gold each. They'll be able to afford to just stay in taverns all the time. And obviously, while they're traveling and they're fighting, all their stuff's paid for, so they get a month where they're not paying for anything. You'll probably find that most of them have got like rich partners living at home who just basically get sent the money, and then they just enjoy having a life of luxury while their soldiers are out fighting, kind of almost half hoping they get killed so they get that extra 2 gold, and then half thinking no because then they can earn more money in future. But Yeah, you get the summons to Ravenna, and you also, while you're back at the barracks and training, you see that another couple of men come looking for Freya. So this is to Alith and to Gaten, and one wears like a scarlet red cloak, and another wears a green cloak and set of armor. You notice the colors are very bright on these units. You don't know why. I mean, the answer is it's easier then for them to discern which company they belong to, because they're obviously private soldiers. They have to look more impressive than normal soldiers. But they all come looking for Freya, so there's obviously, it's been noted that Freya's been seen in the company of Murph talking money, and now two other companies' salesmen who don't have any presence here as soldiers, but they're also looking for coin. So you now have three companies to
Everyone
talk to.
wants a bit of fire.
Yeah, and this is just in Christensen. Obviously, you haven't even got to Jornheim yet,
Yeah.
and you've got
That's
a
why I
mission in Jornheim as well. Okay, right. Well, I'm going to leave it early. I just wanted to get that in about the fact that two companies people were coming, and I'm really super sorry that I couldn't. I started late. We've done barely 2 hours, and most of that has been character setup stuff. But that's just the way it's going to have to be tonight, because I am too drained for complicated combat. My system's not working with the map again that I had chosen, so I can't use that. I need to sort that out. I did fix it on the one I did on Wednesday, because it started doing it, and then I fixed it. But this is the one from the other week, and I've not been able to get it working again. But anyway, I'm going to give you 800 XP, because
Guilt money.
guilt money, basically. Here's some guilt bling. Well, to be honest with you, it has been transformative in many ways.
For them.
Literally.
For the two of them, and for you, it's been an experience, because basically you're now leading an army and negotiating with other armies. So you are engaging in activities.
Being seen for my status, thank you
Yeah,
very much.
and you're also wrestling a bit with jealousy, guilt, confusion. There is a bit of a side of you, Freya, that's kind of thinking like, well, where's my shit?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Um,
Charlotte is feeling the same.
well, that's the journey. But,
Eventually, I will get my comeuppance. I'll get what I want.
will you? Or maybe
Yes,
your
I will.
character arc involves disappointment and jealousy.
Yep. Eventually, she'll probably turn evil and fuck over everyone.
To be fair, there's nothing to be jealous over me at. I got wings.
I don't. But we
Sure,
don't
I-
know that. To be fair, I don't know that. All I know is Alith has come back grey and very boring because he doesn't like money anymore.
I don't think that's anything to be worth jealous over, to be honest.
And then he fucked off to go sleep in a bed because he didn't want to sleep in my glamping tent that has little beds in it. He wanted a real bed,
Oh.
and then he didn't even wake up on time.
Freya's nose is firmly out of joint.
Yeah, that part.
An old horny boy Gaten has suddenly got an army, and with that army he could take Nurburg. Gaten could become the Lord of Nurburg. I mean, Nurburg
Yeah,
doesn't
I
even
mean,
have
he
enough
knows that.
warriors.
To be fair, Gaten's a little softy. He would never
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, I know, but theoretically,
I don't see Gaten as a threat in that way.
those 38 soldiers in joining form would just decimate the whole of Nurburg and kill every warrior in it. Just that little squad, because Nurburg is just a beautiful, quaint village nestling between the woods and a lake in the far north, which is just a beautiful place. Anyway, right, okay. Sorry. Good night. I love you. I'm such a failure.
Do you want me to roll for hit points?
Why's that? Have you leveled?
Yeah, well, yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
with
level.
800, yeah.
I haven't leveled, so
Oh shit.
sad times.
Do you know what? I didn't even bring up your character sheets tonight. I always bring up your character sheets. What is wrong with me?
you like to offer me some more so I can level 2?
No,
Rude.
because you're not as special as the others.
Exactly. I'd like a separate roleplay session where I roleplay alone. Get my own XP.
Oh, Jesus. So you're Aleth and Gayton. Are you both now level 6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Well,
Hi.
bye then.
His
So-
Discord might have just crashed because that's
Yeah.
been happening to me.
So Harry, are you going to go? Did you say you were going to go level in Paladin now?
Hello.
I don't know. I'm debating on fighter or paladin or barbarian. One of the three.
All right, mate. Okay. Gayton, what are you doing
Find
now?
out next.
I'm sticking just with barbarian.
Right. Okay.
5 extra hit points.
Woo woo. So much power.
And if you roll like a 12.
Freya, why are you not level 6?
Because I missed one roleplay session and I've suffered every time afterwards.
I missed one damn session.
But one damn session because of migraine! And I get dragged behind!
I think me and Harry are slightly ahead of both Charlotte and is it Ojo?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Paige
Is they-
started later. She didn't do the trial of fire and ice.
Yeah.
One migraine, and then I get stuck behind.
Yeah, so Paige is also level 5, the same as Freya, but quite a bit further behind Freya.
Hmm.
Still the same level as someone who didn't do the ice and fire!
Yeah, but there's a few thousand XP between you. Sorry.
You should.
Okay, I'll be interested to see where you go. And the next week, I promise I'm... I'll be better. Harry, do you want to roll your hit points while we're here?
Oh, I don't know what class I'm going into.
Oh, shit, yeah. Don't worry about it. All right, have a little read up. Think about where you want to go with the character. And I promise to come back next week far stronger and more awake.
Sounds good.
And I hope you forgive me for not being on top form. I feel
It is
so bad.
absolutely fine.
I should be going to
Yeah.
midnight and powering on.
We will discuss and let you know
It's
by
fine.
sundown.
What?
It gives me some
if you're going
time
to
to try
forgive
and
me.
work out.
Yeah.
Depends how much gold you're asking.
Yeah.
DM, leave the chat while the rest of us decide your fate.
Can you roll a d20, please?
Okay. I got a 9.
It's you're too low. Sorry. You've fallen down a hole. You need to see if you can get a character to help you out.
Okay. I get Albert.
He stays
Albert.
down the hole. I'm having a nap.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll call it there. And I shall see you next week.
I think I'm gonna go fighter.
Ooh, sassy.
Someone to join me on the front lines.
In which case, I get one.
Which is going to be really weird because Aleph has always been at the back, and then all of a sudden Gaten's going to charge in, and Aleph's going to be like, "I'm with you." What?
What are you doing here?
It's
This
quite a
isn't where
change
you
in direction.
belong on the battlefield.
Well, we're always evolving as creatures of this universe, you know.
There you go. Rolled hit points in chat.
Is that like a normal thing to roll for hit point? I thought you just get them
Yeah, you roll them.
given.
Only at first level do you get given them.
I
Then you
thought
have to roll
just-
for it.
Have you just been adding your max hit points, Charlotte, this whole time?
No, I don't know how I've been doing it, but I know that.
Have you got
experience-
fixed?
I think it's fixed.
Yeah, it just does the average.
Oops. Just broken my headphones. Oh well.
I mean,
Oh,
not that
well,
I'm on 42, so.
I'm now on 40. Right,
Short
Oh, wait.
session.